Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush amdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen, ishpata.
Pakhair agale, ni hao, tuna subbe, washmale, ohio gonzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabia, bhalli karaya. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You're watching World this morning alongside the very fantastic, the very amazing, the very superb Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan on a very fine rainy morning over here in Islamabad. Hello, Shiza. How are you doing today?
Thank you for asking. Of course, I'm doing absolutely great because rainy morning. I mean,
Yeah.
I live for those, of course. And it's been so hot lately, especially in well, everywhere actually. But I feel like we feel it even more here in the Twin Cities because it's usually not. There's a lot of greenery. So I am really liking this morning so far. How about you?
Well, I'm not liking it at all. I mean, I do like the rain. I mean, don't take me wrong for that as well. But yeah, I believe that, it's literally very hard to breathe out there as well.
Oh,
And
humidity.
while I was actually driving towards work as well, I was like, why can't I just see the Magla Hills today? So I was so confused whether it's the clouds or whether it's something else as well. But it's the weather, ladies and gentlemen, where you actually have to turn on the AC towards the windscreen, so
Yes.
that, there's no moist
Steam,
or
yeah.
probably steam on your screen as well. But other than that, hope that everybody's kind of doing great as well, since everybody will be going back to work today. The positivity of COVID cases, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately has been going up. Obviously, it was Eid, and we hope and pray that everybody was following their SOPs as well. But Chiza, for me today, to get up and come to work was literally very difficult. I was like, hey, you know what? I was actually about to call you
Really?
and be like, hey, you know what, Shiza, can you do it on your own as well? But then I thought about all of those other people who might be waiting for me, you, and everybody else out there as well. What about you? Are you back in routine?
Well, here's the thing. I was literally going to do the same with you. I felt like, for real, I was like, it's so pretty outside. And I think this was the longest sort of vacation we had, right?
Yeah.
7-ish days we had to take off, the entire team, luckily, thank God. So I feel like we went into the holiday mode. We were, well, sleeping late, waking up late, and not really feeling like working. But I feel like we've got it back now. Now that especially we have started the show and we're back in the studio talking to you guys, I think it's great. I mean, it's so much fun.
Wow, that's wonderful. So, which is why today, ladies and gentlemen, every day, this is something I was going through, so there was this argument in my mind, and I was just constantly thinking about it. I was like, it's too hot, and the studio people are not going to turn up the AC anyways, so I was like, what should I wear? And then all of a sudden, I got to know that my fashion police guy is actually going to be over here in the studios today
Too
as
much
well.
pressure.
So what I did was that I actually have a half sleeves underneath my coat, which obviously is a big no. But then
Okay.
when I got to know that okay, that amazing gentleman's going to be here all the way from New York, ladies and gentlemen, I thought, okay, Shazad, probably you need to carry your jacket with you as well. So today, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about the guy who's over here in the studios with us, who's been actually kind of making sure that everybody who kind of consults or takes consultations from him looks good the way they want to present themselves, even if they are for interviews, for corporate life, whatever it may probably be, or even if they were politicians and they were going out for public speeches. He was the guy, ladies and gentlemen, back in New York as well, and over here on PT World today. But first, we really have something very nice to share with all of our audiences out there. So let's go, let's take a look, let's start our week.
I'm Hamid Saeed, international image and corporate wardrobe consultant from New York. I must have helped thousands of men and women project the right image. Or you could be a host or a program host and you are doing shows and things like that. Or you could be, any kind of creative field. And if you're going to wear a suit, shirt, tie, how you should look. Today we're going to talk about professions, and I always say that no matter what profession you belong to, you should look that profession, you should look the part.
So here with us today, ladies and gentlemen, on a Monday morning, which is obviously a rainy morning over here in Islamabad. We're very lucky that we've actually been joined by the image consultant himself, and he is Mr. Hamid Saeed. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum salam. Thank you very much for having me again, and I feel like at home here.
And
Well,
you know,
so do we when you were here.
exactly, and it's our privilege to actually have you over here. You know, we feel great whenever you're around. It's just that we feel a little bit of pressure.
I know.
That you might be kind of thinking that, okay, you know, whether he's dressed up right or not. You know, so that's the pressure which I feel, and I was feeling it, which is why I'm wearing my jacket today as well.
Yeah, you're doing good, but just there's another
there's a
button
button.
here. So I think you should just close that button because the second button open. I know the shirt button, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to show your macho chest hair and all that. So that's a little policing right there.
To begin with. It's great to have you, as usual.
Thank you.
So I think I'm going to take on the last line almost you said in
Right.
the video as well, that you should look your part.
Absolutely.
Please explain to us.
Well,
because a lot of people
yes,
don't.
absolutely. You know, it's all about nonverbal communication. When you meet somebody, whether it's a meeting or it's a personal meeting or it's a business meeting, before you utter a single word out of your mouth, what you're actually doing is you are communicating certain messages about you.
True.
So what messages that you want to communicate non-verbally speaking? The first thing is that the people just when they look at you, they perceive certain things. And a profession is obviously a big thing. So, let's say, for example, if you're a doctor, you don't look like a doctor. If you're an engineer, you don't look like an engineer. If you're a C-level guy, chief executive, and you don't look like that. So what happens is that then there's a disconnect. So non-verbally, we must make sure that we look who we are. So that's what's called looking the part. But besides that, you also convey that what socioeconomic level you belong to.
Okay.
Just by your dressing, the way you dress, the way your attire is, the whole entire package. It's all from top to bottom. Also your persona, also the way you present yourself, and so people just tend to see that do you tend to belong? Do you belong from upper middle or affluent segment of society or lower middle? But it's actually not important where do you belong from. If you look well groomed, then you just
it works.
It works.
Everything works.
You kind of answered my other question as well, because I was just about to ask you this. Over here in Pakistan, a lot of people actually follow the dressing sense of Prime Minister Imran Khan as well.
Yes,
the way he actually wears shalwar kameez, carries it as well. Kohati chappals and a waistcoat of the same color too as well. So where you said the socio-economic segment, how do you think that you're going to kind of conceive whoever's actually wearing a shalwar kameez or a matching waistcoat with them?
Okay, I think that first of all, sophistication. When you're wearing almost similar colors, it's more sophisticated. I'm from New York. I mean, can't be more sophisticated place than New York.
Of course.
And so it comes from there. The closer the colors are, the closer we call it tone on tone look. So that's basically it. Actually, it started way back there with one of his opponents, the Dari Saab. I mean, if we remember that, when he started wearing these tone on tone kind of shalwar kameez and the waistcoat, and the people looked at him and said, this guy doesn't know how to dress.
Okay.
But actually, it started then, and then it kind of died out, because he was obviously people didn't look at him like in that kind of a,
the way they look at
Imran Khan. So I think he's right on the money. He's right on spot, and so shalwar kameez is not. It doesn't mean that you're wearing shalwar kameez and you're going to look less important or less significant.
Of course.
But basically, the idea here is that you have to dress it up.
And
you have to dress it up either with the waistcoat or with shalwar kameez. I mean, with the coat. The problem with shalwar kameez in Pakistan is that people have made it as a sleeping suit.
Yeah, that's true.
इसी में सोऊंगा, इसी में उठूंगा, सुबह थोड़ा सा मुंह धोऊंगा, उसके बाद थोड़ा सा fragrance लगाऊंगा, and then I'm going to go into a meeting, and then people are going to say, sir, आप, मैं कहूँगा, I'm तो सादा सा बंदा हूँ.
Yeah.
So that sadgi doesn't cut it.
All right, thank you, Hamid,
Well,
for saying
thank you for saying that. And just to add to that, I think I absolutely. Well, something's coming in my mind, and I should talk about it.
Go ahead.
1 or 2 days ago, I think Imran Khan posted a picture of him planting trees, and I
Yeah.
absolutely loved the attire.
He looks so smart.
I know, mashallah, Allah zindagi de. And Ralph Lauren to actually plant trees, I'd love that life.
Exactly, but adding on to that now, sir.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of designers out there, and designers at times come up with a lot of cheeky stuff, because these awards just passed by, and people had a lot of things to say about the fashion sense. All the divas had, or probably all the
I had
gentlemen.
my piece. I also said something.
Yeah, or probably all the gentlemen who were there as well. I think they looked superb as well. But there were these designers who were wearing these masks and skulls, and I don't know what kind of fashion sense were they trying to bring to Pakistan as well. But how do you differentiate yourself from other designers? Because I found you very sober. I've been to your studio. You know, the way you kind of look at a person, you know, the way you kind of judge his personality by kind of talking to them as well. It's very different, and that's what I've found.
Well, basically, designers they design for masses. That's the biggest difference, you know. I mean, they design a collection, so they have like tons of people in front of them what they want to, you know, create that collection for. And image consultant designs for the individual.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference.
All right.
So obviously, an image consultant would take a look at a person, see like, you know, what's your body type, see what's your coloration is, eye color, hair color, skin tone. And then more importantly, what's the personalities? Because there are types of personalities. I mean, there are people who are flamboyant. There are people that who want to be in the center stage or in the limelight and all that, like you guys. So I mean, you know,
I like being low key, but this is my job.
okay, this is your job. Okay, so that calls for it, and so you have to look the part.
Yeah.
And so basically, that's the difference between image consultant and then designer. So what I do is I not only take into consideration their body type, coloration, personality, but I also take into consideration what do you do, what's your profession, what's your position, and then more importantly, what's your own personal vision about yourself.
True.
Like where you want to, where you are today, you know, at your life and where you are heading to, and then I weave that vision into clothing. That's what image consulting.
Yes, and can I just say that, of course, we have been through the process with him, and he really does that, which is interesting, sort of, because that's his idea of how he's going to put that into clothes, and when it comes out as a piece, it's always really interesting and exciting to see. But now again, you did mention that a major part of your job is customizing things according to the client's need.
Yes.
So again, I'm going to take you back to the awards, and where there was a lot of criticism. So this guy was actually looking like Bane from Batman. I felt like it. Don't you think so? Yeah.
And
So
I was wondering whether, you know, how is he breathing even, you know? So things
no
like
idea.
that.
So if a person comes up to you, a celebrity, and asks you for a certain customization, this is what I want to look like.
So how do I do it?
Yeah. Would you do it though?
First of all, you know, I mean, this situation is kind of like very unique situation that you just described, but in most cases, let's say when Amanat Ali, you know, the young guy that we all know, the singer, he came to me, and so we talked about him and his vision about himself for about an hour. He was going on a trip to, you know, United States, and so he said, you know, I've never wore suits, you know, while I'm singing. So this time I wanna do that. So we talked about it, and we created a complete design for it, you know. First of all, you know, there has to be a lot of mobility, so he has to move around and all that. The suit is kind of constricting. So what we did is we did something special in the armhole that he could move around and all that. So, and then when the color schemes, we were deciding the color schemes, obviously I had to look a little bit more exciting and all that because it's in that kind of a feel. So he was very comfortable, and I designed a whole attire for him. So it's up to who the artist is, who the show person is, and basically how they want to utilize and how they want to use that clothing. So that's, I would say, the main criteria when I decide to do what we gonna, you know, how we're gonna design.
Exactly, and that's what people expect from you as well. You know, for as far as, you know, for all of those suits which you've handed over to us as well. You know, every time I wore them, you know, somebody will definitely compliment because it actually goes with the attire and the kind of work we do as well. But since, you know, we were talking about other designers and how an image consultant is different, and you were very wonderful with your words, how you actually kind of define that, okay, image consultant is going to work on you individually. But is trending fashion for everyone? Because, you know, when we talk about collections, you see, you know, moti auntie, lambi, choti, badi, har kisam ki auntie.
Why not men?
Or even men. You know, because with men, you know, we do not go for collections. You know, whatever we get, where we like, we're going to wear it.
All right.
But not everybody. Okay, so I'm going to put it this way as well, and now it's going to sound nicer because now Shiza's not going to do it like that.
I want to make sure you are politically correct.
That's what I'm going to do. So, you know, everybody wants to wear, because what they do is that, you know, on top of every suit, they have this model pasted wearing the same dress. Now, everybody wants to look the same in their heads as well. But one way or the other, they really need to know that, hey, you know what, this fashion's for you and this is not for you. So how would you say that, okay, you know, whether trending fashion is for everyone or not?
Right. I think this is the biggest challenge that everyone faces. You know, there is a fashion, there's a trend, and this is you. I mean, you know, so I would say that fashion is very important, trend is very important, because I'm a fashion guy. I went to FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology, so it couldn't be more fashion than New York and FIT. But having said that, you're not going to take the entire fashion and all the trend and impose it on you.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
True.
So you might take some elements of the fashion, and then you're going to, obviously, if fashion and trend is not everything, so how you going to look? What should be the goal? I think that it should be, you should look classic, you should look elegant, you should look sophisticated,
Absolutely.
you should look contemporary, modern. But if you're going to impose everything on you, you're going to look like a clown. So I would not suggest that. And that's the mistake that I think a lot of people do. You were talking about, let's say, a lady, for example, if she's wearing short sleeves, and if she's got big biceps, and if she's wearing short sleeves, what is she trying to do?
Yeah.
I mean, all the emphasis right here. And for the men also, I mean, if they're wearing some loud colors, or they're wearing, a button here with a different color and all that, and very kind of like, very loud kind of
Right in
clothing.
your face.
So,
Yeah,
right
yeah.
in your face. So what are you trying to say?
Exactly.
So I would say that your personality should shine, you should shine, clothing should go in the background, but you must look classic, modern, contemporary. I mean, it should
Absolutely.
not look like you're from dinosaur age.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, I do agree with you. And I think I have to mention one thing over here. It does not matter what sort of social circle or class you belong to. I have seen people who probably wear something for the minimum amount of, something that I can even think about right now, and they would pull it off so well,
She's talking
mashallah.
about me.
Yeah, even you.
Thank you very much for saying that.
Well, so I think it's the sense that has to matter. But one more thing, I think credit's due where it's due.
Yeah.
There are so many designer brands in Pakistan as well, and I think Khadi was the first one who actually chose to portray their designs on models of all different sizes. So when we talk about, women of all different sizes looking at one particular picture and thinking, maybe aisi lagungi,
Yeah, yeah.
they actually fought that, and I absolutely admire that. I mean, kudos to them. There was a plus size model
Yes, yeah,
ranging
plus
from
size,
extra
yes,
small to even 16 and plus.
Yeah.
So people can see what they're going to look in that.
But the problem with this is, with all due respect to Khadi and a lot of other brands, is that they do show it and all that. But when they
Yeah.
come to designing and all that, for example, I'll give you an example
Okay.
for men. Let's say,
Okay.
for example, let's say they say, okay, here's a collection of short men. Okay, so what they do is they take the tall and they make it short, but they don't change the proportions.
Yeah, yeah,
and the proportions
Okay.
are the same.
Okay.
For example, a short guy, for example, if he wears a shirt which is called for short people and all that, made for short people, and still like the pocket's gonna, instead of coming here, it's gonna come here.
Oh,
The
got
waist is gonna
it.
come here. So this is where I think that they need a lot of work.
For sure.
And that takes a lot of work to do that. So I think it's a good step that they took. But how much it kind of went into actual pattern making and that design, particularly for that body proportion, because
Got it.
if you don't take body proportion into account, then believe it or not, the outcome is not going to be that great.
And you know what?
Absolutely
Thank you very
right.
much for saying that, because they might not have even thought about it, that that hey, you know what, the pocket really needs to be here, but it's going down here as well. So thank you very much for that. But okay, now I actually want you to kind of bust this myth, only if you agree to this as well, and that is, do you think or do you believe that may it be contemporary, may it be classic, whatever kind of dressing we're going for, it really does not need to be very expensive, and it should always be affordable for everybody who's out there?
I'll share a study with you.
Sure.
Hamid Saeed, I've been in the trenches for last over 2 decades, although I don't look like that. I've over 2 decades.
Mashallah.
Yes,
Alhamdulillah.
you are. I mean, trying to. But anyway, I've seen all this, over the last 20 years that, whatever I'm bringing out, it's just all my personal experience. But there are other people that who also done studies on this. Okay. So there's a guy's name is Roman Jacobson. So if you are at home, you can Google him up. He's the it guy on nonverbal communication, visual communication of clothing. So what he says is that the paramount thing is how the clothes fit you.
All right.
Okay.
That
Now
is
I want to
true.
take it further. He said how the clothes fit you, it defines, and then he makes a very, very interesting conclusion out of that. If the clothes fit you according to your body type, he says you will look rich.
Okay.
And if they don't fit you, for example, your shoulders here, jacket is here, or for that matter, it's swimming, the
Sleazy.
clothes are swimming over here, or they're too tight, or you're a big guy, and it seems like you're sitting here very tight, and the
Popping a
button's going to
button.
pop up, and that's not a great scene. So he said that if you are wearing clothes which don't fit you, you will look poor. Garib lagenge aap. So, I mean, having said that, now this guy is the it guy from Harvard, from Columbia, from MIT. he doesn't say, doesn't he know there's a Gucci brand out there? Doesn't he know there's Armani brand there? Doesn't he know there's expensive cloth there? He doesn't say that you need to wear that in order to look rich. So that's the point here. That you could look great within a budget. All you gotta do is you gotta make sure the colors are right, cut is right, combination is right,
fit is right.
your accessories are right, and you look like you're very well put together. And I think that could be done within a budget.
And confidence is the cherry on top. So
thank you very much for saying that, because everything he said, he was kind of pointing towards me as well. So I was like, yeah, thank you very much for the compliments. But since you've spoken about it as well, and even in the video which we played, you said that everybody kind of needs to dress up as well. So what happened to the best ever company CEOs, top 500 Fortune, maybe Mark Zuckerberg, maybe anybody for that matter. They really do not dress up. Either they're going to wear a jean and they're going to wear a T-shirt. The world knows they are rich, but their clothing does not kind of tell that they are rich. Because you just said that Jacob said that if it fits you perfectly well,
you look rich.
Yeah, but you look rich. But
okay,
whatever T-shirt he's wearing, it doesn't make him look like rich or whatever it is.
All right, let's talk about Mark Zuckerberg, for instance. You brought it up, and actually wherever I go, Mark Zuckerberg follows me, because obviously this question is always there. So let me, debunk that myth.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, when we look at him, he's wearing T-shirts and jeans most of the time. So there are a lot of guesstimate about this, why he does that. But, people asked him, well, why do you wear like this kind of attire every day? And his own interpretation is, he said that, oh, I'm wearing this because I have no time in the morning to figure out, like you said, in the morning I was coming, this and that, you're figuring out like, okay, what suit, what shirt, what tie. So he said he has no time for this. Now, if we look at this argument, that makes sense. It's a rational argument. Look, I have no time. I just want to get to work. But the question is, does he wear T-shirts and jeans all the time?
No.
And the answer is no. I mean, we have all seen that.
Okay.
When he went to testify at the Congress and Senate, guess what he was wearing? On that day, he spent time. He really spent time.
Well, he woke up early.
And then he looked like, not only he wore a suit, shirt, tie, but he looked like that, the cover boy of that, GQ magazine. He looked that great. Similarly, he did that when he went to China, to meet with the president of China. So again, he didn't dare to go into, T-shirt and jeans.
Right.
So I think the message there, a lot of people are listening, and is this, that, yes, Mark Zuckerberg does that, but he believes in situational dressing, which I believe in. So it's all about situational dressing, what the situation is. Now, for example, you and I were wearing nice suits and all that. If we go to a village like that, would that be appropriate? I don't think so. If we go jogging, somebody's going to say, well, you're crazy, you're jogging in this. So situation and where you go and the context in which you are wearing clothes, I think that's more important than what you're wearing, and it must be, according to that.
Well, that was a brilliant answer, but it also makes me wonder if you're trying to say that the kind of status that Mark Zuckerberg does have, if someone openly has that status, if the world knows that this person has this kind of status, it is okay for them. Do they get a pass to wear whatever they want?
Well, at a certain point, it does come to they become their own brand or something like that, their own signature look and all that. I mean, the other answer I gave it to, especially those couch potatoes who are sitting there and say, hey, Mark Zuckerberg is this and I could do that. I always tell them this. I said, become like Mark Zuckerberg first, and then talk. I mean, so this is another view on point of view on that.
And also, I think to wrap it up, you said it's his signature look and it works for him. Let's talk about signature looks.
Okay, signature look is, some people think it like it's the same color or same, combination, all that. That's not signature look. Signature look is, which is the 5 pieces of dressing, which I've already described.
Yes.
The color should be right on your skin tone and all that. The second thing is that it must look physically, whatever your body type is, it should fit. And the third is according to your personality, and the fourth is according to your position, and then the profession.
Right.
So what happens is, within these 5 parameters, this is a litmus test. All the garments which are created with that kind of things, in those 5 things in mind, they're going to give you that signature look. Okay, and then also you should know what colors are more solid colors, more reliable colors, the ones that are authority colors and all that. So basically, it's like, when somebody looks at you, whether you're wearing formal or you're wearing casual or you're wearing somewhere in between, they should say, okay, something, this is the same guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like, people ask me, okay, I talk about dress for success, and they say, what's the problem in Pakistan? They ask me, and I said, problem is not that people don't know how to dress. One day they look absolutely great, stunning. And the other day, they look somewhat good, and the third day, you look at the person and
You
say,
can't
"Are you the
recognize-
same guy?" So that's what I call the signature look.
Oh, well, brilliant,
I
brilliant.
guess that's a very persistent problem with me too as well, because once you take a look at me while I'm going to the gym, you'll be like, okay, is he the same guy? Because I really do not wear matching shorts, or for that reason joggers, or probably tops as well. But ladies and gentlemen, obviously life needs to be taken easily as well. You really do not have to push for things. Some things are meant for you, some things are not. I think that this is where the beauty of life lies, wherein as well, and just to kind of accept your reality and move ahead with that and try grooming yourself as well. But thank you very much, Hamid Saeed sahab. Always wonderful to be in conversation with you. And even while you're not talking, you're having that non-verbal communication, which you always talk about as well. And I can see that power tie, red color, ladies and gentlemen, is a power tie as well. Very quickly, one last question. Yeah. So for all of those people, who are into corporate life, how do you think they need to dress?
Well, the corporate is, those are the ones that many of them think like, hey, I'm a corporate guy. I'm just like, I'm an executive. What does I have to do with fashion and trend?
Yeah.
So I would say only one thing to them is that, look, you got to look current. You got to look state of the art. You got to look, I mean, it's not that, you're talking about your company as a state of the art company, product as a state of the art, and then you look like you're from dinosaur age, So I would say that, get rid of all those old-fashioned clothes and all that. So this is actually corporate dressing is, I would say that, it must look elegant, it must look sophisticated, it must look very refined, polished, but it should also be current, and whatever the current fashion is, there should be some sort of, resemblance to that as well.
Wow.
Well, that is brilliant. Thank you so much for saying that, ladies and gentlemen. We did learn how to look our part, but I think in the next segment we are going to learn how to actually sort of start up something, the kind of idea that you have, and how to take that forward, how to make it sustainable. And are there any certified tips that you can follow to make it sustainable? What are we talking about? Something we're going to reserve for right after this very short break, right, Shazad?
Yes, so let's do that. We'll go for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, and we'll be talking about how to market your business. Let's do that.
Good morning.
Good morning. Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for staying tuned to PTV World. You're watching World This Morning alongside my very amazing co-host, Ms. Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan. Earlier, we were so worried about our images that we actually had an image consultant over here in the studios with us, and that too a good one. But now we're actually worried about smaller businesses. I mean, people who actually take these initiatives, people who actually take loans, kind of get into product development, and then eventually comes up and say, hey, you know what, my product's not selling. I mean, this is something which we really need to put our heads together, because if we are dressing ourselves up for a presentation and we do not know where to head, I mean, that's a problem.
Definitely. And why do we need to talk about small businesses particularly? Because, well, when we're talking about the industrial development of a country, it does contribute a lot to that.
Yes.
And in the case of Pakistan, about approximately 90% of all the enterprises are SMEs. And I mean, there's so many things that they are contributing to the country, like in terms of employment, giving chances to more than 80% of non-agricultural labor force, or well, contributing to the GDP eventually. But the issues mostly faced by these SMEs, Shahzad, are how to continue, how to manage the resources in a way that it can be sustainable for the future as well. This is what we are going to talk about mostly, but you have a grin on your face, so I'm going to ask you what happened.
No, I was just about to say that, okay, for all of those people who might be, taking it or thinking that, it's a little bit difficult to understand what the concept is. So imagine that, God forbid, you're out of money. I mean, where do you need to go? God forbid, if you do not know where to get legal expert advice from, we're going to give you that solution today as well. For example, you do not know where the product needs to be sold, we are going to tell you about that. And then the foremost and the major aspect, ladies and gentlemen, in the businesses these days is marketing. A lot of people are spending a lot of money on their marketing, and people still do forget to keep a marketing budget for that matter as well. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we're lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be a branding expert. She's the CEO of Hamkar Holdings as well. She is Miss Gulzeba. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam. Kya hal aapka?
Absolutely perfect, and thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Alongside Ms. Gulzeba, ladies and gentlemen, we're lucky that we've actually been joined by another marketing and branding expert as well. She is Ms. Uzma Kamal. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Subha bakhair.
Walaikum assalam. Thank
How
you
are
so
you?
much. I'm good.
Thank you very much for joining us. So let's get the conversation started. Please guide us. What is Hamkar Holdings, and then we'll move on.
Hamkar Holding is mainly whatever when we talk about SMEs, we need to understand what are SMEs, right?
Okay.
So we need to understand what are SMEs, but we need to actually, this is something which is by pain point also, because we need to understand how to redefine the SMEs. Why? Because we kind of categorize every business from small home-based business, cottage industry business, micro SME business into SMEs, which is not an SME, right?
Okay.
As you said, 90% of the businesses are SMEs, but actually about 3.3 million businesses are SMEs, and out of these, 40% of the SMEs are contributing to the GDP.
Okay.
And we need to understand that why we can't actually kind of sustain the SMEs, why can't we develop the micro SMEs into SMEs, why can't you actually you support the micro SMEs and the SMEs with the cottage industry and the home-based industry, because this is what is happening in other countries also. If we look at the other countries like in Japan and Malaysia and China, these are the countries where they have actually, in their countries, their total business establishments, they have 90 plus businesses are relying on the SMEs only.
Okay.
So in that way, they are contributing to the GDP about 60 to 70% in the GDP,
Okay.
and the job employment is about 70% from these SMEs only. In Pakistan, we are contributing only like 40% to the SMEs.
GDP,
So yes. So why? Because we need to understand why we can't grow our SMEs, why can't we grow the small home-based businesses. We need to understand that what is missing, what are the challenges faced by there. So Hamkar Holdings comes where we need to understand that whatever the connection is missing in that SME or the brands or the small home-based businesses, we provide that missing connection. We provide that missing link. If it is legal support, if it is marketing support, if it is finance support, we provide that missing link in that.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Which
That's
is why, since you even spoke about challenges as well, so let's move on to Ms. Usma as well. Ms. Usma, what are the challenges faced by small and medium enterprises anyways?
Actually, the biggest challenge is inadequacy of resources, both financial resources and human resources. When we talk about financial resources, the access to finance for SMEs is very difficult, and hardly few SMEs are able to get finance, because the commercial banks are reluctant to finance SME sector. There are so
Because
many.
they're worried, whether the money is going to come back or not.
Yes, they are meant for making profit. They are commercial organizations, so they want profit plus the principal to return back. But in case of SMEs, probably they are not sure. Mostly SMEs are not able to fulfill the requirements of bank because they don't have previous credit history, they don't have liquid assets, they don't have proper documentation. So that is the reason that banks are not much willing to
Exactly,
support
but
this
that's
sector.
not the reason, and I'm going to tell you why. And it's because of the fact that imagine that, we actually have a fresh graduate, we're interviewing him, and, as soon as he's right in front of us on the table, we're like, okay, what experiences do you have to yourself? I think that it's the banks who are making it difficult for the SMEs to kind of sustain by putting in such legislation where they cannot actually get money, because Pakistani government actually came up with this brilliant idea to have small and medium enterprises banks as well, who are going to help them as well. There's SME Bank, there's ZTBL, and there's other subsidiaries
Yes,
as well who are actually supposed to give away these loans. But the banks have made it so difficult because they know that first things first, obviously the money is not going to come back, that's the first fear. And the second one is because they can actually invest with the government, and they can earn overnight, they really do not feel the need to do it.
Yes.
So why shouldn't we blame the banks rather than blaming the SMEs?
No, actually they are meant for making money, but in case of SMEs, due to the lack of managerial and entrepreneurial skills,
True.
SMEs success rate is very low.
Exactly.
The second biggest constraint is human resource. They don't have proper human resource which is capable of running a business. So this is the reason that why they fail. So in case of big organizations, they have specialized people, they have competent resource, especially for their main functions like marketing, sales, customer services. So they have competent resources with them who are part of their regular payroll. But in case of SMEs, the number of staff is is very low, and quality of human resource is not as good as it should be. So that result in mostly in small organization and SMEs, multiple jobs are being done by one person. Sale person is also doing the marketing job, which resulted in no sales job, no marketing job. So this is another challenge.
Absolutely, and I think you very rightly pointed out, and it is only pertinent that Ms. Gulzeba answers this because you are providing similar services to them as well. Why do you think, ma'am did mention, and it is also a part of research is done now, marketing is the part where SMEs are lacking majorly. They just do not have the knowledge how to go about it. What are they lacking, in, and how are you fixing that?
I would like to add to Uzma's points because what SMEs are mainly lacking is they lack innovation, right? One of the main factors that they lack innovation. The other main factor, as Uzma said, is the lack of finance. Because everything related to business is related to finance, right? If you want to do good marketing, you want to appoint someone for marketing, you want to have you want to outsource the marketing, you have to have that finance to support that marketing activity. Okay, what we need to do is that, okay, in case of you lack this finance, you need to understand that why do we need that finance, right? As in case of the body, human body, if you do not have the blood, you will not be getting any energy out of the food or the oxygen. So that blood is the finance in the business. So you can't actually expect a SME to be healthy, to be to having good human resource, to having good systems, to develop their institution without the finance. So that goes to the banking sector, as you said. So that goes to the banking sector, as you said, that banks are not supporting. They do not actually support. They do not actually support SMEs. Why? Because it's kind of a hassle. Is more risk-taking for the banks, also for the commercial banks. But current government, PM, is quite focused on the SME sector, and recently Shaukat Tareen, Minister of Finance, he has actually announced without collateral loans for the SMEs also.
Brilliant.
Which is very very needed and very much required for the SME sector.
Exactly, that's true, and thank you very much for saying that as well. But coming down to where I want to talk about the services you guys are providing, with the name of Hamkar Holdings as well. That is now, for example, if a business comes up to you, they're like, hey, you know what, we want to do this business, but unfortunately we do not know, we do not have the right skill. What are you going to do, and what are the chances of the success that Hamkar Holdings will actually provide them with that success? Because if you can do that, man, you can particularly own that business too as well. So why not do it ourselves?
As I said, government is supporting the businesses, but not really in the right way.
Okay.
Why? Because government has to develop right policies for the right businesses. So we develop the policy for SME, but we do not develop the policy for micro SMEs, for home-based businesses, and they're the cottage industry. So unless we support the small businesses, we cannot actually support the SME and the complicated industries development also. So in case of Hamkar Holding, what we do, as if you come to me and you have a brand running, like you have the product ready for yourself, right? So we need to understand and check the product quality. What is the quality of the product? Mainly we are working a few international brands and a few local brands also.
Brilliant.
In clothing, in cosmetics mainly, and now in real estate also. In case of branding, we need to understand what is the product, how do you have to sustain that particular quality for the bulk production, and then in that bulk production, how do you have to develop your capacity. So in order to develop your capacity, if you need to advance like investment, we provide that investment because we have our pool of investors also.
Okay.
In order to develop the brand in a way like where marketing is needed or digital marketing is needed, we provide that service also. In order to provide, most of the women entrepreneurs are not registered.
Okay.
So we provide that legal support to them if they want to register with the SECP, with FPR or the chamber. I am also associated with Rawalpindi Chamber of Industry.
Yes.
And I was working as trade promotion convener last year with SMEs also. So we realized that the SME sector, the small business sector, is not really well aware of the problems, of the challenges they have.
Yeah.
Right? And if they
I
are,
don't think they come prepared in it. They just want to start
yes,
something, right?
they just want to start. They just want to run of the mill type of the businesses, and they do not have developed the institutional development which is required for the business.
Exactly.
Right.
The SOPs which are required for the business, the operational processes which are required for the business to sustainable to actually compete globally.
Got
Yeah, and you know, talking about businesses, ladies and gentlemen, people think that they have figured the formula out as well, but you know, they're always missing one or two steps within that business cycle. But you know, since you mentioned about these trainings as well, so I want to build up on that because I think that there's a Fuqdan, you know, alhamdulillah, in Pakistan, talking about,
As
you know,
every other
for all of
sector.
those people who are actually trained and, you know, kind of know how to do things as well. Because just yesterday I was in conversation with my cousin and he was doing something with IT and I was like, hey, you know what, why don't you hire people from NUST and, you know, all of these well-reputed universities? It was like, you know, I called this IT expert guy somewhere abroad and I asked him that, okay, you know what, since you're lending me so much work, you know, and I need to do so, would you recommend that I get people from the best universities or I should get people off the streets, train them, and you know, do you think which one's going to be worthy for me? And then the gentleman said that, hey, you know what, if you're going to get a good student from NUST University or any other university from Pakistan, the next day if they're going to get 20,000 increment in salary, they're going to leave you, go to another place. Rather, if you're going to invest your time on somebody who never knew what IT was or he never had the skill, you know, he's going to be with you for a longer period of time, and that's something which you really need. So in terms of training, what would you recommend for all of those businesses who are out there, number one? Number two, why do you think that we are still unable to see a smaller business becoming a bigger business as well? That transition.
Actually, we all know that having a proper marketing strategy and a marketing plan is inevitable for any business regardless of its size. Unfortunately, in case of SMEs of Pakistan, they still have not realized or acknowledged the importance of using the power of marketing. That is the reason their success rate is low. So, if we talk about that, we should actually focus on their empowerment. They should learn by themselves, as you said, to invest on someone who learn the skill and apply it later on. So, what I suggest is to develop practically proven marketing modules with a perspective of imparting knowledge to SMEs. In this way, they will be, at least they will be knowing about what are their prime marketing needs and how they can fulfill those needs. In case of larger organization, as we have mentioned earlier, they have specialized people, and marketing is not one-time exercise.
Exactly.
It's an ongoing process. So big brands have people who are taking care of their marketing needs. But
they
in
make
case of
mistakes as well.
yes, they do. But those organizations are big, and in case of SMEs, they are already operating on a small capital. Their marketing needs are probably more crucial and to be met as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
So, in case of like our country, I have noticed the State Bank of Pakistan and other banks are financing SMEs, but this is one side.
Okay.
The other side is still not addressed properly.
What is that side?
And that is the learning side, the training side, the advisory services, the consultancy services, which they should be given to the SMEs.
Definitely.
But everything can be done online these days. I mean, why do we really need to kind of push that hey, you know what, हमें सिखाओ यार, बस
But
आज
that
हमें
is what
सिखाओ.
I was
Actually,
going to talk.
bookish
Yeah.
things and are very much available on internet. You can use that information, but very pertinent and relevant,
Okay.
practically proven techniques, जो SME can learn and apply later on. So
Right, that is so
modules should be so practical,
Exactly.
That is absolutely true.
easy
And now I
to
have
be
totally
implemented.
Which is why, you know, I actually want you to share that. Okay, you know, do you have any such module in your mind which is very practical? Do you want to share it with our audiences today?
Actually, I have worked for big brands.
Okay.
Okay.
I got the privilege to serve 3 main telecom operators of Pakistan. I have worked with beverages, pharmaceutical. So there I learned a lot.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah. And after my last
But
employment,
share a little something. That's what I'm requesting.
yes, first of all, what is big businesses are doing? They have developed a customer centric approach. Customer is bottom line.
Yeah.
Customer is
Customer is
everything. Improving customer experiences.
Customer is king.
Customer is king. Improving customer experience is probably everything.
Absolutely.
Customer is much more aware these days. They have many options available. So you have to come up with the expectation of your customer. For example, we often clients are coming to me and they say, we have digital platforms, we have websites, we have Facebook, but we don't have sales.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to attract the relevant customer to that website. This is what I was talking about, to teach them the practical part. Mostly companies don't know who are their target audience,
Yeah.
Okay.
what is their brand identity, how to become a brand, how to
It's so
become a
easy to
preferred
check
brand.
Even on Facebook, you know, you go to your page, go to statistics, and they will tell you that, you know, okay, these are the people
Insights, yes.
who are actually visiting your
But
page. and
how
these are the
many people
who
know this? In case of SMEs, do you think they have enough time to go for this? They are one man, they have less people with them,
True.
they are doing multiple jobs with few people.
Right.
They don't find time. And
And
by
they
the
do
way,
not
they
find the right people as well.
right people, quality people. Quality of human resource is also mattering a lot.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, we're really left short on time as well, but I wanted to talk about this. So, Ms. Kulzeba, I'm going to request you to use few words, but encapsulate all of it as well.
She's smiling as well. She's
It
like,
seems
okay,
like
I
I'll
know.
try. Okay, so, well, I feel like when we're talking about SMEs, they're coming from someone inexperienced who is, well, courageous. They want to start something new, so they definitely don't have a family history of business or anyone to learn from. It is their experimental period going on. So in those terms, even I'm really happy to mention that Amazon sellers coming to Pakistan, government is actually going to train the people who are willing to sell their product, which is a great thing because that is what we're talking about. People don't know how to go about that. What are some of the organizations like yours that SMEs can actually look up to learn these things?
See, government and private sector both are working in the same domain to actually help, promote, grow, and scale up the SMEs. But we need to understand, as I earlier said, that we need to redefine the SMEs rightly. We need to understand the SMEs.
Yeah.
SMEs is the one which has 50 plus employees, up to 250. We mostly have less than 50 employees. We count them as SMEs, but we do not actually catering the problems of SMEs unless we understand them. So once we understand the micro SMEs, we need to understand, okay, what are the main problems of SMEs? So the other organizations which are working mainly, we need to understand, we need to reap the benefits of the networking. We need to understand what are the trade bodies, what are the different chambers, what are the government bodies which are working to develop and help grow SMEs like SAMEDA and DDAP.
Okay.
We need to understand how to actually have the right network and explore the right network for these benefits. Even if you are outsourcing the legal and the marketing part, you need to understand.
Yes, go on.
You need to understand that how to select the right person, right?
Definitely.
Exactly. Thank you very much for saying
Thank
that.
you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much, Ms. Gulzeva, and thank you very much, Ms. Usma Kamal, for joining us. Wonderful to have you. But ladies and gentlemen, it's all going to come down to, just like, you know, earlier in the beginning of the program, we talked about an image consultant. You know, there's nothing bad in going to a business consultant as well, and they will definitely help you out with the best they can. Please make sure that you write to us on all our pages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram with the name of
Well This Morning, and the repeat you can catch at 5 past midnight. Till the next time, take care. Good morning.
Bye.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to PTV World News. I am Hajra Sati.
And I'm Mohammed Abdullah Dar. Let's see the top stories first.